This is a developing story, and the details are already shaking the country. Aloy Ejimakor has made a direct and explosive statement. Senator Orji Uzor Kalu is one of the conspirators working with the Tinubu government to keep Nnamdi Kanu imprisoned in Sokoto. There is no soft language in the claim. No hesitation. No vague suggestion. It is a clear, bold accusation that cuts straight into the heart of Nigeria's political tension. The moment this statement hit the public space, it triggered shock, anger, questions, and a sudden wave of discussions across the nation. Ejimakor's words are not coming from rumor or street talk. They are coming from someone directly involved in the legal and political struggle surrounding Nnamdi Kanu. That alone gives weight to everything he has said. He is not speaking from the sidelines. He is speaking from within the fight. And when a voice from inside drops an allegation this strong, the impact is immediate. The claim focuses on Sokoto as the chosen location to keep Nnamdi Kanu. That single detail has intensified the entire issue. Sokoto is far from the southeast, far from the central pressure points, and far from the places where public attention is strongest. For someone like Kanu, whose name alone pulls national attention, moving him to Sokoto sends a message. And according to Ejimakor, this move is not accidental, not innocent, and not casual. It is deliberate. The accusation states that Senator Orji Kalu is not just aware of this decision, but is part of those helping to carry it out. That is why the country is reacting the way it is. This is not a small claim about a minor political figure. This is about a former governor, a senior senator, a national figure who has long positioned himself as someone capable of influencing the system from the inside. To be named as a conspirator in a plan to keep Kanu locked away is a charge that carries national weight. Ejimakor believes that Kalu's involvement is tied to loyalty, political calculation, and an alignment with the government's interests. And he is not presenting it as a private misunderstanding. He is pointing directly at a coordinated effort. He says this is a joint operation involving the government and individuals who understand how to navigate the political terrain quietly and effectively. The pressure around this claim is rising because it touches something bigger than one man. It touches the fear that many Nigerians have quietly carried for months, that Kanu's continued imprisonment is no longer just a legal matter, but a political strategy. And now, with Ejimakor naming names, the suspicion is turning into public debate. He has made it clear that the choice of Sokoto is not random. In his words, it is a move designed to keep Kanu in a place where influence weakens, where the environment is controlled, and where access is limited. Sokoto is distant. It is quiet. It is a place where political heat does not spread quickly. And according to Ejimakor, this distance is exactly what those involved want. The strategy, he says, is to reduce pressure, to reduce noise, and to reduce the possibility of a large, coordinated demand for Kanu's release. The reaction from the public shows just how serious this accusation is. Conversations across social platforms have exploded with people debating Kalu's role. Some say the claim matches a pattern they have been observing. Others say this could reshape the entire conversation around Kanu's detention. And there are those who believe that if Ejimakor has spoken this boldly, then something deeper is happening behind the scenes. The tension surrounding this issue is not just political. It is emotional. It is rooted in years of conflict, frustration, hope, disappointment, and constant questions about justice in Nigeria. That is why this accusation feels heavy. It touches something sensitive. It hits a nerve that was already exposed. Kalu's name adds a unique kind of pressure to the story. For years, he maintained a public image of someone who understands the Southeast, understands the political climate, and understands the people. But now, with this claim, that image is being challenged. If the accusation is true, it means he is no longer acting on behalf of the region's concerns but instead acting in line with a federal agenda designed to silence a political figure who commands deep loyalty from millions. Ejimakor is not simply mentioning Kalu. He is accusing him of playing an active role. That is why this statement has become one of the biggest talking points of the moment. This is not something that fades quietly. This is the kind of claim that forces a response, forces attention, and forces the nation to look closely at who is standing on which side. Right now, the atmosphere is thick. People are waiting to see if more information will come out, if responses will be made, if the government will address the issue, or if Senator Kalu will speak openly about the allegation. The silence around these questions is only creating more tension. And this is only the beginning of the story. The moment Aloy Ejimakor's accusation entered the public space, the entire discussion around Nnamdi Kanu shifted. What was once viewed as a legal battle suddenly looked like a deeper, more controlled operation driven by fear, influence, and political calculation. And as the conversation grows, the real pressure is not only on the government, it is on every person connected to the decision to keep Kanu in Sokoto. Ejimakor's claim makes something clear: he believes that Senator Orji Uzor Kalu is not acting by accident or by guess. He says Kalu is part of a coordinated effort, a quiet arrangement that operates outside public view. According to him, this strategy is built with one purpose: to weaken Kanu's reach and disconnect him from the powerful influence he still holds across the southeast. The idea of a push behind the scene is not new in Nigerian politics, but this particular situation has its own weight. When the government decides to move a man with national influence to a far northern state, questions naturally rise. But with Ejimakor naming Kalu as one of the people supporting this move, the questions have become sharper and louder. Ejimakor insists that keeping Kanu in Sokoto is not just about distance. It is about control. A location that is far from the southeast reduces direct pressure. It reduces sudden gatherings. It reduces constant public monitoring. In Sokoto, everything can be managed quietly. Every visit, every update, every movement is controlled by a system that stretches far away from the loud political demands of the southeast. But Ejimakor argues that such control is exactly what the conspirators want. He believes they fear the influence Kanu still has. They fear what could happen if he is kept somewhere closer to his strong base. And they fear what his release could trigger, especially at a time when the political landscape is unstable. This is where Senator Orji Kalu's name becomes critical. Kalu is not an outsider. He is not someone who lacks understanding of the political pressures in the southeast. He knows the impact Nnamdi Kanu's name carries. He knows the emotional connection people have to the issue. And he knows the reactions that follow each decision about Kanu. So if he is part of the plan, as Ejimakor claims, then this is not just about a senator following orders. It becomes a calculated move where influence is used to support a federal strategy. A move where political survival, personal alignment, and national power all tie together. Ejimakor says the reason for this alignment is simple: fear. Not fear of violence, but fear of influence. Fear of the attention Kanu commands. Fear of the loyalty people show him. And fear of what the government sees as unpredictable outcomes if Kanu is ever released or brought closer to home. According to him, the plan is structured around three quiet goals. Keep Kanu far. Keep him controlled. Keep him silent. These goals, he says, cannot be achieved if Kanu remains anywhere near his base. And they cannot be achieved without people inside the southeast political circle helping to maintain the plan. That is where Kalu's alleged involvement becomes central. Ejimakor's words have created a kind of pressure that cannot be ignored. Each hour, new people join the discussion online. Some say this is the first time the truth is being said openly. Others believe there may be even more names involved. And many fear that this situation may become bigger than anyone expects. But beyond all this noise, one thing is clear: the tension is no longer quiet. It is out in the open. Another layer of pressure comes from the fact that Sokoto is not a random destination. Ejimakor states that the location is chosen because it gives the government and its allies the breathing space they want. The environment is calmer. The news flow is slower. The influence of local crowds is weaker. And public access is easier to monitor. For a figure like Kanu, who draws attention at every turn, Sokoto becomes a kind of political cage, far from noise, far from pressure, far from the environment that empowers his voice. Ejimakor believes this is all part of a grand strategy. A strategy that depends on silence, distance, and controlled communication. He says that whatever is happening behind the curtain is not meant to be seen, not meant to be heard, are not meant to be challenged. But his accusation has broken that silence. It has forced everything into the light. The result is a heavy pressure on both sides. For the government, the pressure comes from the public demanding answers. For Senator Kalu, the pressure comes from his name being tied to a plan that many people see as a betrayal of the Southeast. For Ejimakor, the pressure comes from speaking boldly against powerful forces. And for Nigerians watching this unfold, the pressure comes from the fear that justice is no longer the main factor in this case. What is clear now is that this is no longer just about detention. It is about power, how it is used, who controls it, and who becomes the target of it. The situation is growing, the questions are multiplying, and the truth behind this strategy is pushing to the surface. And the story is far from over. If Aloy Ejimakor's claims are true, then what is happening to Nnamdi Kanu is not just a legal struggle, not a court process, and not a routine government action. It becomes something much deeper, something built on strategy, fear, political survival, and a quiet network of decisions made far away from public eyes. And once a situation enters that territory, the truth becomes harder to ignore and even harder to control. Ejimakor's message forces the country to look directly at the possibility that Kanu's continued imprisonment is not about justice, but about power. Power used to suppress, power used to silence, and power used to shape the future of the nation without the people's consent. He believes the government sees Kanu not as a legal case, but as a political force, one that they want to keep distant, quiet, and contained. This is why his accusation carries weight. He is saying that what is happening is not accidental or coincidental. He is saying it is calculated. And if there is calculation, then there are planners. If there are planners, then there are motives. And if there are motives, then the public deserves to know what they are. The mention of Senator Orji Uzor Kalu ties this entire claim into the political heart of the Southeast. Kalu is someone who built his reputation on influence, networks, and deep political understanding. If he is indeed part of this strategy, then it means the effort to keep Kanu in Sokoto is far more structured than anyone imagined. It means this is not just a federal plan, it is a plan supported by insiders who know the emotional weight of the issue. This is where the story becomes heavier. It reveals a truth many fear but rarely say aloud: political survival in Nigeria often depends on quiet alliances. These alliances are not announced in press statements. They are not debated on the floor of the Senate. They happen in private rooms, through back channels, and through silent agreements where each person knows their role. Ejimakor is suggesting that Kanu's imprisonment is one of those agreements. The hard truth is that Kanu remains a powerful symbol. Whether someone supports him or opposes him, it is impossible to deny his influence. His words move people. His detention stirs emotions. His name creates tension for both the government and the region. And that influence is exactly what the conspirators fear, according to Ejimakor. He believes the strategy is simple. Reduce his reach. Reduce his impact. Reduce the pressure he places on those in power. And Sokoto becomes the tool to achieve those goals. But there is another truth underneath this: strategies like this do not last forever. Eventually, the public begins to see the pattern. They start asking questions. They begin to compare actions, statements, and decisions. And when accusations like Ejimakor's come forward, people start connecting the dots. This is why Ejimakor is pushing so hard for awareness. He wants the nation to understand that the decision about Kanu is not just about a man, it is about a message. A message that says some voices can be locked away when they become too loud. A message that says political convenience can outweigh justice. A message that says influence is a threat, not a right. His claim creates a moment of truth for everyone involved. For the government, this is a test of transparency. Will they address the allegation directly, or will they hide behind silence? Silence, in a moment like this, is not neutral. It raises more suspicion, more pressure, and more doubt about their true intentions. For Senator Kalu, this becomes a test of loyalty, loyalty to the region, loyalty to the nation, and loyalty to the truth. If he remains silent, the accusation grows. If he speaks, his words will be judged carefully. Either way, the pressure rests on him now. For Nigerians watching closely, this becomes a test of awareness. It challenges people to look beyond the official headlines and ask deeper questions. Who benefits from Kanu's silence? Who gains from his isolation? Who is afraid of his influence? These questions are no longer optional. They are necessary. Ejimakor's statement has opened a door that cannot easily be closed. It has pushed this issue from the shadows into the center of national conversation. And once a story reaches that point, every step forward will carry weight. This is the moment where emotions meet strategy. Where truth meets power. Where silence meets pressure. And the final message is clear. This story is not ending now. It is entering a new phase, one that will demand clarity, courage, and accountability from everyone involved.